D&D. It's become popular with children anywhere from grammar school on up. Not so with a lot of adults who think it's been connected to a number of suicides and murders. The problem seems to be that some kids take it more seriously than others, take it a step further, playing a character who brings them the power in a game they couldn't possibly get in real life.
It's just me and him, alone. And my character's slightly strong enough to where I grab his skull from behind and crush it in the palm of my hand.
These young people are playing Dungeons and Dragons. Each player chooses an imaginary character he'll assume. It's a journey into a land of fantasy, where you use your wits to kill your enemies before they kill you. The Dungeon Master orchestrates and referees the game, creating scenarios both complicated and terrifying.
My name is Simon Henley. I'm a maths teacher at Western Springs. Back when I was about 16, I was a student at Ariwa College, Year 12, and we were joined by a student who moved up from America, Justin, who introduced D&D at the time. So we'd never encountered it before, but I think we were all instantly hooked. At the end of that, it was fun. It was something like Tolkien or The Hobbit, but it was allowing us to put ourselves in that sort of world and have our own adventure without even leaving the room.
My favorite part of D&D isn't actually playing D&D, it's just hanging out with friends and the chaos and just the experience of just what happens during D&D. Like, it doesn't take that much to get into. Like, you need a pen, and then maybe a piece of paper, and then that's all you need, and then you get started. My life would definitely be different, because if I never played D&D, I would never be in the friend group, pretty much, that I am now, or at least as involved with them as I am now. I probably wouldn't be labeled as much as a nerd, but, you know, probably wouldn't be having as much fun.
I wouldn't have the same bonds I have with my friends. I wouldn't have the stories that I have now. I definitely have different kinds of relations. I wouldn't be as personal with them because I spend so much extra time with them and I know so much more about their personality because we can all explore aspects that we wouldn't normally because we can use these characters.
Do you know what the Satanic Panic is?
Not a clue.
Do you have any guesses?
It's probably something demonic.
Well, I'm guessing it's probably something related to D&D.
A lot of people still do think that D&D is a satanic ritual, but beyond that, I wouldn't say I know a lot.
It would be nice to not be labeled as, you know, a devil worshipper for just enjoying myself.
I was head boy at the school at the time, and also someone who was running these Dungeons and Dragons campaign. But the school became aware of this, and I was summoned or asked to attend, I think it was a board meeting. They just wanted to reassure themselves that the game was safe. I think some of the messages they were hearing were things about students committing suicide, dabbling with Satanism or the occult. Somehow this was a game where we were potentially consorting with devils or demonic concepts beyond our ken, chanting spells or something like that, or invoking powers whose name that we were unaware of, and nothing could really be further from the truth. At the time afterwards, I actually wished, in hindsight, that I hadn't been called there at all. Here's me having fun with my friends, and I'm being summoned in front of the board to defend having fun with my friends. Walking away afterwards, I became a bit angry about the fact that I had to defend that right at all.
Was there anyone else in your life that frowned upon D&D at the time?
No, not at all, not at all. My parents loved it. No one else really expressed a concern. They saw nothing wrong with the game. It was just a bunch of friends having fun. The viewing of Dungeons and Dragons through a fundamental Christian lens was probably where a lot of the misunderstanding and the doubt and indeed the fear and panic came from. While from what we were doing was trivial, they felt that was seriously threatening.
I think the biggest misconception about D&D is the whole role-playing aspect of it. And they think they need to dress up in big costumes and put on an accent. The characters are more just your ability to explore a different part of your own personality.
I think one way that we could get rid of misconception is just by inviting people to play it. The easiest way to stop people from viewing the game as it is to let them experience it themselves, to experience the way that it's played and who's playing it.
It's a lot harder to dislike something that you thought of. It's a lot easier to go, oh yeah, that's cool because you think it's cool. And it's all up to how you think.
I do know that the resources in the books were sanitized over the following years to remove things like words, demons and devils. More widely, I think the mechanics of the game have changed. It's probably changed to make it easier to play, probably more accessible for people to play.
It's played differently because of all of like the online different websites and stuff that you can use to create characters or like learn more about it, as opposed to being in the 80s where you have like a select group of people and that's all the interaction about the game that you have.
I definitely think more people should give D&D a try. And I think you can't really understand what someone's talking about when they talk about their own D&D sessions. But I think it's a lot of fun when you can understand, so I think everyone should give it a go. It's a bit of fun.
What's the closest thing you could compare D&D to?
The games that you play as kids, where you find, you find a stick and you carve away at a rock face, or someone else finds a stick and you have a sword fight. It is a game that is based on your imagination.
It's not based around what you are, it's based around what you want to be.
Uncle Sam means you play D&D. It's fun. Trust me. We have cookies. Sometimes. Sometimes.
Someone approached me and asked what D&D is. I would say that it is very hard to explain. You should probably ask someone else.
Yeah, if I could tell my teenage self something, it would be to keep using my imagination.